backpack 20 euros, t-shirt 10 euros. Being with people who understand you, priceless. There are some things that you can buy, for all the rest, Mastercard.
Hello, very good morning. You are watching BBC News with Peter Villalba. We have new studio, new look, new name, and coming up this morning we will have the latest, of course, of the top stories, focusing on the everyday, unfortunately more usual act of bullying. Researchers at the National Education Association report that on a given day, as many as 160,000 children skip school. One of the principal reasons for avoiding school is that kids are afraid. 3 out of 4 children say they are bored. 1 in 10 say every day. But bullying isn't only a problem at school, also outside of it, in the free time. We have investigated the most recent case in which one child began nauseating another without an apparent reason. We have sent our special reporter, Jack Nicholson, to hide. Hi Jack!
Good morning, Peter. Exactly here is where the little boy named Larry was peacefully playing with the sand. Suddenly, and without a previous warning, he was hit by a sandball. Larry's father, who was sitting right next to the sand case there, was watching the whole handling and was completely astonished. The perpetrator of this awful handling was a little boy, also at the same age as Larry, who didn't have a better idea than to attacking poor Larry. Larry's father, Morton, who was tired of Joe's behavior, decided to talk with Joe's father, who was sitting here, next to the sun case too. Okay? Our next video is the recording of this happening, filmed by an anonymous recorder.
No, little boy, we mustn't throw sand. We must play nicely with each other. Don't do that, little boy. You mustn't throw with sand. It might get in someone's eyes and hurt.
You go right ahead, Joe. Throw whatever you want. This is a public place.
Well, you're quite right, but just because it's public place...
My kid's got just as good right here as yours. And if you don't like it, you can take your kid the hell out of here.
Well, I think instead of chucking at each other, they should play with each other.
I don't care what you or your son want. If my son feels like throwing sand, he throw it. And
Don't
if
you
don't
think
like
you should be a bit more social?
shut up.
This is ridiculous. I must ask you...
You and who else?
Well, Larry, let's go. This is ridiculous.
But Dad, I don't want to go, I don't want to go, I want to play with the sun, no, Dad!
Right, Joe, keep on playing.
What an impressive scene, Jack. It's difficult to believe there can be someone with such an imperious behavior. Morton's family must be shocked by the whole event. My superiors are confirming me that we have a last-minute exclusive. Again, our reporter Jack Nicholson has been able to contact the protagonist of the story, and he's offering now a live interview with Morton's family. Tell us, Jack, what's the family's version?
Good question, Peter. Initially, they didn't want to talk to the mediums and wanted to forget about what happened. But finally, they decided to talk exclusively for BBC News. I'm here at Morton's family house. Good morning.
Good morning, Jack.
Good morning, Morton. How did you feel when you saw that boy throwing sand to your son?
Well, my first reaction was thinking it must have been a mistake, so I friendly asked him to stop, and I thought it was over.
And then, because as we have seen, it didn't end here.
Yeah, the boy kept on throwing sand, and when I realized he did it with his father's permission and there was no way to convince his father that what his son was doing was wrong, I preferred to leave it and take my son away.
Okay, thank you. How did you feel when your husband arrived home? Would you have reacted the same way as he did?
My husband was absolutely disappointed. He couldn't believe it exists someone with so bad manners. If their parents have such a behavior, imagine how their children will be. Children imitate their parents and do what they do. But if I've been in the park, I don't know how I would have reacted. But for sure my first instinct would have been to rush to the child and punish him. But as my thoughts teach me, I would control it.
And apart from it, do you consider your husband's reaction as appropriated?
What else could he have done? What an impression could he have made on our son if he had begun a fight? And actually, even if our son wouldn't have been there. I mean, my husband is not a muscle man. I love him for many other things, but strength is not his best quality. I think he made the best decision at that moment.
Okay, thank you. And you, little boy, what happened?
Yeah, I was playing in the sandbox
And then?
yeah, he began throwing sand on me. I hadn't done anything. And there was his father. I think he wanted to hit my daddy, but he didn't. They just began shouting at each other. And then we left. I didn't want to leave because I was having a lot of fun playing with the sand. But my father obligated me.
You have seen Peter. A nice Sunday in Larry's life, ruined by two unrespectful and unpolite bullies. That's all from my part. Have a good day. Back to studio.
As we have seen, parents influence in kids' life. Throughout the ages, parents have had a really big impact on the child's education. Lots of researchers have proved it is strange that a child succeeds or accomplishes goals without a parent or a guardian standing next to him to support him. As a parent, you have the vital role in helping your child to avoid risky behaviors. In fact, you are the most important influence on your child's decision about risky behaviors. But how many people are aware of this? Let's see.
In a normal day, how much time do you spend with your son?
Really good question. I'm happy that you asked me that because I imagine how much time I spend with my children that I do not even go to work. They are the biggest thing that have happened in my life, and I'm prepared to do everything I have to do to be with them.
And what kind of activities do you usually do together?
Everything. We go to the beach together, we have lunch and then go to the cinema, for example. We make a picnic in the park. Yeah, almost everything.
Thank you, sir. What kind of role do you think you have in your son's life as a father?
I think it's not so an important role because I'm not very often at home. I have to travel a lot, so I don't see him very often.
Children need someone next to them to support them. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree, and I think it's also right, but I also think they need someone who gives them food and money, and I think, oh, and sorry, they called me. Bye bye.
Okay, thank you. Sir, do you smoke in front of your children?
Well, yeah, I don't think it's a problem.
Do you think this is a good example for your children?
I don't care, that's just how life is,
Okay.
Or do you think it's a problem? I don't think so, no.
Thank you.
And there is more, of course, on BBC News Channel, but from me, have a good day. Good morning.